Welcome to another episode of the Writer's Game podcast, where we help you magnify your voice and monetize your message. I'm your host, Kyle King, 7-time published author, CEO, and founder of the Writer's Game. And today we bring another message, another episode with another phenomenal human being. And through this episode, one question is going to be answered. What does holistic health really mean? What does it mean? What are the aspects? How can you take care of your body? Because there's somebody that's going to be listening. It's probably you that has just been going and feeling a little discomfort in your joints, a little discomfort in your back, a little weird feeling in your neck area, and you're probably not doing something right. So this person is going to be talking to you today about how to experience life in the best and most healthy way possible. How are you doing, young lady?
I am great. It is my birthday today, and I'm just doing exactly what I love, which is talking about health.
Well, happy birthday. Before we get
Thank you.
started, could you introduce who you are and how you're leveraging your skill, your experience, and your story to be able to transform lives?
Yeah, so my name is Aissa McGuirl. I am a physical therapist and strength and conditioning specialist, but I kind of took a different route and kind of transitioned a little bit more into the fitness field. Kind of like in my school journey, I started off just pursuing just like lifting and fitness and things of that sort. And in like my fitness and like health journey, I started to notice like a lot of like little aches and pains here and there that the traditional physical therapy stuff that I was like learning in school, it wasn't really addressing. So like over like the course of like the past like 8 years or so, I've been kind of just like tweaking like all the little things that I do just to kind of like incorporate everything as a whole. So you brought about like the topic of just like holistic health. So I classify myself as a holistic fitness coach. And in saying that, it's kind of just like saying everything in your body is connected. So the traditional like physical therapy realm, a lot of the times you're addressing like one body part. So addressing like your neck, addressing like your knee or your foot or your back. But there's so many different things that are going on, and it's never really just one thing. It's usually like everything all together, like what you eat, what you do, what you think. Your foot could affect your neck could affect your back. Like everything is connected. So I've been like on this, I guess I'd say rabbit hole because I've just been exploring like all the different things like the body can do and like how all these systems connect just to make everybody feel like the best version of you. So you should feel great every day. So you should wake up feeling good, happy, ready to take on your day, accomplish all the tasks that you need to do. And I love that I get to help people do that.
That is that is amazing, actually. I never really thought about the body is in I guess one word, an ecosystem. And everything's connected. If one thing is affected, it's probably because of something else. And once that thing is affected, it impacts something else. And then just this continuous process of working together collectively to enhance all of the areas and aspects of our body and our mind. My,
Yeah.
my question for you though is, on this journey of being more healthy, um, from a holistic side, what is the first step that one would take to start this journey? Is it diet? Is it physical wellness? Is it mentality? Like, what is that first step that someone should take if they want to transform their life?
Yeah. So I'd say I think it's really different for a lot of people. So sometimes just addressing your nutrition is what you need to do. Sometimes just getting into the gym and doing some type of movement. Sometimes it's literally what you think. But I find mostly like with the clients that I work with and just like people as they get older, one of the biggest things to tackle is your nervous system. So just a lot of people that I find are just in this constant state of go, 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 go. Their nervous system and this is in this constant state of sympathetic overdrive. So I like to help people tap into their more parasympathetic nervous system, trying to get them to more rest and digest. And there's so many different ways to do this. So I think addressing just like the mental component by tapping into this nervous system is one of the most important things with working with people.
I'm here.
Okay. Um, so still here?
I'm here.
Okay. So usually it's things like addressing like your sleep, addressing like your diet. So usually it's things like addressing your sleep, like what you eat, what you think, and like even just like your activities throughout the day. So like a lot of people, like I said, they're on this constant state of go, 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 go. I got to do this task, this task, this task, this task. You never get a chance to rest. And when you never really get a chance to rest, recover, just enjoy life, enjoy the little things, your nervous system's going up and up and up, and your body can't heal and recover. So when you start to do like this diet or this exercise program, your body takes this concept of a diet or adding on like extra exercises. It takes it as a concept of more stress. And what happens with that is you might not get the results that you'd like to do. So I think one of the biggest things is addressing your nervous system. So just learning to calm down, take it slow, sleep more, eat more, eat more. I said eat more because I know a lot of people are taught you're supposed to eat less, but sometimes it actually eat more, eat better quality foods just to get your nervous system to calm down so that you could learn to get healthy. Just take a breath at first.
It's so interesting to me because a lot of this isn't taught obviously in the school system. I don't feel like 90% of this is communicated in the school system. When you
No.
think about this journey that somebody is going on to live a more healthy, or and fulfilling lifestyle, what are some of the results that somebody could get? Not just looking better or feeling better, but from a long-term perspective, what are some of the results that someone could see as they commit to this type of lifestyle?
Yeah, so I find so when I started off working with like a lot of like older adults. So I'd find people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, they'd come to me with like all these like aches and pains, and it literally limits them in things that they want to do like every day, like walking around, getting in and out of the car. They can't play with their kids, they can't play with their grandkids. So I feel like it in taking the traditional route, eating the traditional American diet, traditionally exercising, going about this constant state of go, 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 it kind of adds up and adds up and adds up over the course of the lifetime. So when you get to be a little bit older in your 50s, 60s, 70s, you can't do the things that you love to do. And sometimes the things that you love to do is just get out of bed, go to the bathroom, hold your pee, things like that. So it really starts to affect you later on. So it's better off if you're addressing this now as opposed to later, because as you start to address this later, more and more of these things build up. It's so hard to come back from all of these things, especially if you're waiting 70 years to take care of it. And then at 70 years, you probably find like a lot of like your grandparents and stuff like that, they're really like hunched over. Like gravity is kind of like beating them down into the ground. So you have literally 70 years to undo terrible habits. So why not start now? I can't hear you. Is that me?
That's definitely a perspective to look at when you think of a lot of the things that could potentially happen as you get older. When you think about your journey and the story that got you to this point, what was the experience? What was the journey? What was the exposure that made you or that motivated you to want to walk in this realm?
Yeah. So I am my first patient. So when I was in grad school, I was 22 years old. And this was kind of just like a big shock to like my nervous system. So like I like to say, I don't like to say, but I say my nervous system isn't as strong as I'd like it to be. And I think that's what makes me my first patient. So all the things that I teach, all the things that I've done, like I've been through it all. So like in grad school, I was 22. I was working like two, three jobs, and I was taking on a full course load as a doctor of physical therapy student while working and while working out. So in doing this, like my body was under so much stress at the time. I would become super nauseous, like I didn't want to eat as much. I get random pains in my body. So like pain would jump here, 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 here. I had this serious brain fog that would not let me concentrate in class, which made doing physical therapy work terrible at the time because I couldn't really concentrate. So I was like going to doctor after doctor, getting like MRIs done, like all these expensive tests. And they're like, yeah, you're fine. There's really nothing wrong with you. And then come to find out, like looking at it, so that was probably like 6 years ago, 8 years ago. Like looking back at it now, it's like my nervous system was in like a constant state of just like this fight or flight mode. Um, and it was because I probably wasn't eating enough food and eating the proper types of food. I wasn't managing my nervous system, as in, I wasn't taking a second to just breathe, enjoy my day, slow down, get enough sleep. And then, as from the movement perspective, I was doing a lot of heavy strength training. So, like, I look good, I look really good. But I was doing so much strength training and not recovering properly. And because I was doing so much strength training, and my muscles were getting like so divine, they didn't have the ability to let go, which kind of, there's a whole bunch of other things that kind of like go into it, but it just equated to having like my body hold more tension and just be in this more constant state of sympathetic overdrive. And because of this, I was getting like all these like different symptoms, like weird symptoms. So over like the course of like my physical therapy journey, like I think, like I said, it's kind of been like a rabbit hole. Like I'm like obsessed with the body and like find like all these like different things like connect to each other. So like I've been learning like all these like different things and like how all these systems connect, just to one, apply it to myself, but I also work with a lot of different people who experience like a lot of these like weird problems. And sometimes it's just take a step back in the traditional way that we were taught was healthy. So the traditional like diet, traditional like exercises, like lift heavy, uh, do like your toe touch for your stretching, do your cardio. Like that's what a lot of us were taught was like the actual like healthy way. I'm trying to undo some of that and kind of just take a more holistic route. And holistic route is just literally giving your body everything that it should have by what's on this earth.
When you think about any listener that's listening in right now as they start their fitness journey, what are some tips, some key strategies, some different things that they need to be looking for or they need to be implementing at the beginning or wherever they are in their fitness journey, especially to be able to do it, I guess, with a holistic approach?
Okay. So, how much do you sleep?
I probably sleep 6, 7 hours a night.
Okay. Okay. That's not
Sometimes more than that.
terrible.
No, no,
Not
sometimes
awful.
more than
I would say I, I think the most important things is the stuff outside of the gym first. So
that.
I'd say make sure you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Um, you'll probably feel a lot. Your business will probably be like
I know,
triple of what it is right now, huh?
right?
Huh? Think about it. Eat more whole foods, like cook your foods. Biggest thing, like when you're going to like the grocery store and you read the ingredient labels, if there's a whole bunch of stuff on there that you really don't understand, you probably shouldn't be eating it because it's probably not real food.
Interesting.
So eating just like whole foods, like and pretty much just like cooking it to make it a full meal. So I eat dairy, I eat beef, I eat vegetables, I eat rice, I eat bread. I eat good food. I eat a lot of food.
It's interesting that you say dairy though, because
Hmm.
my sister is, a health nut, she's like a health conspiracist, I feel. And there's all of this research surrounding dairy. Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Does it build mucus in your body? Does it not? Is red meat bad for you? Is it good for you? I'd love for you to talk about these, realities from your perspective, especially with the research that you've done and why
Hmm.
these potentially could be in a healthy diet as well.
Yeah. So I am not the 100% expert on this, but I go to my guru friend about this stuff because she talks about this stuff a lot. So a lot of the times when people have like dairy intolerances, especially like different races may not be able to tolerate dairy as well as some other races. But a lot of the times when people have dairy intolerances, it's mostly because of like an inflammation of your gut or something going on with your gut that limits your ability to actually digest the dairy. So the dairy actually has like good quality like nutrients for you. It has like protein, vitamins, minerals, things of that sort that are all really good for you and it tastes good. Um, but the biggest thing is like the quality of your dairy. So
Ah,
not that
not
the cheapest version
the
on there.
2% Food Lion milk, not that.
Yeah. Nah, I go for the full fat. One day I'm gonna do the raw milk, but I can't find it around me. But I go for the full fat, grass fed, organic type of milk. Usually the most expensive kind, but tastes good.
No, that's definitely interesting perspective for sure. I know earlier you talked about a lot of your traditional methods, and sometimes traditional methods that we learn, we have to unlearn because those aren't maybe the healthiest ways of going about this journey. How do you stay up to date with a lot of the latest, whether it's fitness trends or nutrition, and those research as well?
So I take research with a grain of salt. I do that because research is good. It points us in like the right direction, but a lot of the times you can't test everything 100%. So there's different like little things in there that you can't like equate in the result. So yes, you get good things from like research, but you can kind of make the research show something that you're trying to have it show, if that makes sense. That makes sense?
Expound on it a little bit.
So like if you're like testing something on different people, so you could test something on somebody who's 70-year-old, somebody who's 5 years old, and then you get the result. But the results might be different from person from that group versus that group.
Mm-hmm.
And the result that you get might not be, it might show that, yeah, this worked on maybe the 70-year-old group, but maybe it didn't work on the 5-year-old group, but the results show that it worked on everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And, I think in a sense, all research is relative based upon the hypothesis that you're trying to draw. From, I think with any, whether it's a scientist, whether it's a course creator or a business, when you're looking at research, just like we learn in school, that scientific method, once we understand what we're looking for, we're going to manipulate the data in a sense so that it can prove what the hypothesis is. I'd love to know though, what are some key principles that people can apply in their own lives so that they can live a more holistically healthy life?
Yeah. So, like I said, I think there's some benefits to the research, but just kind of like taking it like back to like the principles of just like mechanics and how we're supposed to move is probably like one of the best things that we could do to implement in just like our fitness and just like movement goals. So, usually the one thing that I start off with when I'm teaching people how to move is just how to breathe. And yes, you could do this in your movement, but you could also do it when you're just sitting right there or when you're walking around. So one of the biggest things that you could do, just breathe in through your nose. So I know a lot of us, we like to breathe through our mouth. And what that does is it generates more tension from our neck, our back, and we don't end up breathing with our diaphragm. And it kind of just messes up all of just like our mechanics. So one, just breathe in through your nose, try to have little tension, and then get that full exhale.
No, that's interesting. I think with any journey, there's going to be a set of challenges. There's going to be a set of hurdles and obstacles that we have to go through. And in your journey, I would be interested in learning some of the biggest challenges that you've had to face and what strategies or methodologies did you use to overcome those things?
Having a baby. No, that's a big old wrench. And I think men obviously don't have babies, but they can experience some of the mechanical things that we experience with having a baby.
Really?
Hear me out. Okay. So a lot of us, especially when we start to eat more, we get a little bit bloated, hold a little bit more belly fat. And what that does is it kind of like distorts like our abdominal / pressure mechanics. So with women, one of the biggest things is when we have a baby, it kind of just stretches out our abdomen, stretches out our pelvic floor. So what that does, it just disrupts like our body mechanics so we don't move like we once did.
Interesting.
So men can kind of, not the baby part, but they can kind of experience kind of just like this forward shift of like our center of mass. Our abdominals don't work as well. Our pelvic floor doesn't work as well. And it kind of just like disrupts like things going up the chain. So like your upper back, your neck, your hips. So they don't move like they're supposed to. So women definitely experience like way more because it's definitely way bigger. But if you're experiencing something like that, you're not going to have the full mechanics like you once had to move, just better overall and get into certain positions, get out of certain positions, produce force in these positions, and actually get stronger in these positions. Nice. So
It's interesting.
It kind of like ties in like with the breathing mechanics before is, like I said, breathe in through your nose. We're trying to help you use that diaphragm. And then when you're exhaling, you're using those abdominal wall muscles. You're using those pelvic floor muscles. Men have pelvic floor too. You're using those muscles to help you move better. So like all these things, they work together so that the things up here, your hips, your legs, they work better too. So it's kind of just making sure that you're addressing all this first before you start to get those other things moving and stronger.
No, of course. I think I think these are the foundational steps, right?
Yeah.
To being able to transform our lives in anything, we have to understand the fundamentals. And before we can transform any business, we have to understand the fundamental core values and mission that is driving us.
Yeah.
When you think about your life, what are some of those most important values or beliefs that are serving as the guiding star to your life as well?
So my ultimate goal is to one, look good, but feel good every day and just enjoy like all of like the little moments. So like I want to be walking down the street and just enjoying my walk. Like, but how do you do that like if you're not feeling the greatest? So like I've had like the experience of like having like a headache or having like that brain fog that I was talking about before. So like it's my ultimate goal, and I definitely experience this now. Like I just feel clearer. Like my head is just like free to think, free to go about, think about something like this, and then come back to it. But also I'm able to just enjoy like the little moments and move my body and do what I want to do. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that too. Like it sucks waking up with a headache and you have to go to work and then you have to do all these things and you have to talk to people. I don't
Mm.
want to talk to people when I have a headache.
Some people don't even want to talk to people.
Facts.
I really feel when the more that I work out and the better that I eat, I do have a sense of clarity. I have a, higher, energy. I feel better when I'm moving, and it allows me to be a lot more productive in work as well. And it allows me to create moments that truly inspire not only me, but motivate other people and inspire other people.
Yeah.
Um, my I guess that brings a question. Can you share a moment that was in your life where you felt truly inspired or motivated, whether it be to make a positive change or just to do things differently in your life that have transformed who you are today?
That's a hard question. Um, I feel like I've always been a very motivated person. Like I'm gonna get it done. And I think that's kind of the problem is I'm gonna get it done and I'm not gonna stop. Um, but and in doing that, I think that kind of caused some of the problems that I was talking about previously. Um, but I think overall, like I've always felt like this is my calling, like this is what I need to do. Like I truly have like a passion for like all of like these things that I talk about because it could make you feel just so much better about yourself. Just like thinking like some people they can't get up in the morning because their back hurts or their head hurts and just like they can't do the things that they once loved just because everything in their body hurts or you don't feel like you did 30 years ago.
Exactly.
I don't think there's a reason why you shouldn't be able, maybe not 100% like you did 30 years ago, but I don't feel like there's any reason why you shouldn't feel like you did when you were younger. So there's all these like factors that I'm kind of like taking into play and kind of modifying just so that you can, I guess, feel younger, like feel like you once did. Some people don't have they weren't all that great when they were younger, but feel a little bit better on your body. And like there's no reason why you shouldn't feel good every day.
Earlier you talked about one of the biggest challenges that you experienced. You alluded to it, and then you went in depth with the second challenge is being a mom, having a child. Um, as you're raising your child and as you're continuing to become the mother that you are today, what advice would you give your child that took you the longest to understand and implement within your own life?
I think moving slower and enjoying the little things.
Hmm.
I think that goes like such a far way because if she, oh God, I hope she doesn't have my nervous system because, whoo, she's in trouble. But just I feel like if I just slowed down, like enjoyed the moment, enjoyed like where I was, just enjoyed the journey, which I'm learning to do now. I think things have would have gone better for me. And I think she'll get this from her dad. Her dad moves a lot slower than me, but so she's lucky with that. But I think in doing that, like I feel like her health will be just so much better for that. Have you ever like seen like somebody's like somebody's like parents? They're like 80, 90 years old. They smoke, they drink, they eat like shit, but they have like their health is just like fine. Like they're doing everything that they want to
Oh,
do.
literally, I do. It's crazy, actually.
They're the happiest person ever, right? They move slow, they're super happy, nothing bothers them, right?
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I hope my daughter's like that.
No, that's perspective. I think what keeps me grounded is understanding one that you have people around you that help keep you grounded and kind of help you understand where you came from, but also push you to where you're going. But also having a child, I believe, has always helped me understand um, that my deepest flaws, my biggest success, um, it doesn't matter. You're still enough as a
Yeah,
parent, as long as you're continuing to stay present and be yourself. And who you are is completely enough for that person,
definitely.
especially that little person. What is your hope for the world? If you had one hope for the world that could be realized in your lifetime, what would you want to see?
I see it coming. I don't know if it's going to be in my lifetime, but I see it coming. I feel like there's so many people out there doing such good work and just taking us back to the basics, just eating what we're supposed to, just enjoying life, and then just moving. So those are pretty much the basics: what you eat, what you do, what you think, and how you move.
I like that. If you had 60 seconds to share a message with the world that would enhance every single person's life that listened to it, what would you say?
I don't know. Oh, that's a big question. Um, I'd say I'd say take a look, reflect in like how you're living and literally like how your body feels. So think about how your body feels and then think about what you can do about it. There's usually something that you could do about how your body feels because I know a lot of us, some of us just don't feel great. And there's usually something that we could do about it, whether it's the way that we think, whether it's the way that we eat, whether it's the way that we move, or it's just literally like how we're moving about our day and just like living our life. So there's usually something you could do about it. And you really shouldn't take no for an answer because this is your life and you want to live it to the fullest because you only got one life to live.
What is one thing in your life that if you had all the resources in the world and money wasn't an option, you would be doing?
This,
Hmm.
oh, I'm so obsessed with the body. I love taking I love taking all these courses and just like connecting them all together because there's so many like different like trains of thought out there. So like I've done a lot from posture restoration. Last year I took maybe 5 of their courses and it's like a full weekend. Some of them were a little bit longer. Um, I did the pregnancy, postpartum, and I literally just love taking all these courses. It's a lot, but I love taking it because there's so much information that you get out of these things that gets you, that I could apply to myself for one, but I could apply to so many other people. Like, and everybody's body is just so different. And I think that's what's great about taking like all these different courses because like there's so many methods out here. A lot of us don't work well with just like one thing. And if we do, that's that one person. So it's just I love that I'm able to like learn all these like different things and find like all these like different methods so that I could help every person because every person is so different. Like your body moves different than your son's body. My body moves different than my sister's body. Like we move so different. and just learning like all these like different things. One, like I said, I'm able to help myself, but just like helping somebody move better, feel better. It's my passion. I just love this stuff.
I love that. Where can we find you online?
So I have my website at connectthebodydots.com, and I'm on Instagram at Dr. Aissa underscore AISSA underscore.
Aissa, this has been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's always interesting and really impactful talking to people that have passion for the work that they do. I can definitely tell that not only because of your thirst for knowledge in this industry, but how you're continuing to show up for your clients, how you're continuing to push the limits of health in the body, and how you're continuing to practice the very things that you've learned is truly transformational, and it's going to be the catalyst to shifting so many different people. And it is my hope that your hope for the world um, is realized in both of our lifetimes, and that we continue to leverage our experience, our stories, and the research that we learn through the process to be able to implement the things that people need so that we can transform the world around us. I
Yeah.
thank you so much. Anybody listening right now, I need you to support her on her different channels, like, subscribe, and share this specific episode. This is another episode of the Writer's Game podcast, where we help you magnify your voice and monetize your message. And we'll see you guys